Welcome to the 3 Retro Movie Geek podcast with me, Rob Taylor.
Me, Scott Witham.
Me, Paul Constable.
What's that? Welcome to the 3 Retro Movie Geek podcast with me, Rob Taylor.
Me, Scott Witham.
Me, Paul Constable.
And we're going to be talking 80s and 90s movies from our childhood.
The greatest cinema era ever.
The Emperor has been expecting you.
The 3 Retro Movie Geek Podcast. Join us, you have.
Hello.
Absolutely brilliant.
Hello.
Gold.
Welcome to episode 4. Thanks for that introduction, Yoda.
Maybe you will.
No, we can't pay you, just for fun.
Special guest.
This is episode 4. Today is Star Wars Day, May the 4th. May the 4th be with you.
Always.
We are discussing Return of the Jedi. With me as ever, it's Scott the Wookiee with them. Hello, Scott. And poor Onzi One Kenobi Constable.
Oh, love it, love it.
His nickname's Yons, in case no one knows that. Right, we're talking Return of the Jedi. What are your memories of this?
Return of the Jedi. So I remember it. I didn't see it in cinema, but I remember it being on Christmas, New Year, kind of that type of time. It's the only time you'd see it on terrestrial TV back then if you didn't own the copy of the VHS or whatever it was. So it was very special because, you know, you're all hyped up for Christmas and then that's on, and you get to see this awesome space fantasy, you know, spaceships and space battles and lightsabers and magic and force, and it's brilliant. Yeah, so that's like kind of my earliest memories. I've got many more, but
Similar to me, I think.
I was lucky enough to see this one at the cinema.
nice.
You are old, aren't you?
I am old. Unfortunately, I don't remember too much about it. I don't know when to see it at the cinema.
Yeah.
I think it was possibly... I vaguely remember my dad coming home from work and obviously I was at home from school. And he said, come on, let's go to the cinema. Because it was the last day it was going to be on. And off we went. I think we went to Whitney to watch it.
Right, cool.
Strangely enough, I believe that cinema, like the one in Swindon where I went to see Ghostbusters, is also Witherspoons.
Oh, right, we've had this before, haven't we?
Yeah, I know.
We should be sponsored by Wetherspoons. Is your favourite out the original 3? What do you...
No, I love New Hope. Always, that's my favourite, and that's probably the one I've seen the most.
Mine has changed over time, and probably at the original 3, yes, this is slightly Pip's Empire. Now, when I was younger, it was A New Hope. All my other friends loved Empire Strikes Back, but I didn't get it. It ended like on a cliffhanger. It didn't have any resolution to the story. It was very dark. I didn't like it. When I got older and I would say more emotionally intelligent, I really appreciated the dark moodiness, the undertones and everything like that. And it went for a long time, Empire being my favourite. But now I think Return of the Jedi, the conclusion of the trilogy, and just, you know, the third film in the trilogy. So the technology has moved on, the special effects have moved on.
Yeah,
there's more. It's the accumulation. I think I do prefer this one out of the original.
I think it's my favourite. I think when I was a kid, it was more kid friendly than the other two. It had the Ewoks in. It was a bit of forestry in it. It wasn't just.
Well, it always
dark
felt it was
space,
the conclusion.
Yeah.
You know, and I know obviously recently we've had The Force Awakens and those come on, which kind of continued the story nicely.
Yeah.
For me, they have. But that was always the conclusion of that trilogy.
Well, you're a big Star Wars fan, Scott. But
Huge.
But like, I always find that the big Star Wars fans don't always like Return of the Jedi because of the Ewoks.
I love the Ewoks.
But then they do moan a lot, big Star Wars fans, don't they? They're always don't like that, don't like
true
this.
fanboys.
Yeah.
Find anything to moan at.
Yeah.
I mean, if you didn't like Return of the Jedi, you wouldn't have liked The Phantom Menace, Revenge of the Sith, and I can't remember the other
Well,
one.
they didn't at the time.
Well, I still don't.
But now they've had a real resurgence now, the 1, 2 and 3.
See, I like them all. I'm not a massive Star Wars fan, but I like the films. You know, I watch the films and I enjoy them. Am I a Star Wars geek? Probably not. I couldn't tell you the names of all the aliens. Where you probably know the languages. You can speak the
a little bit, yeah.
Should we call him C-3PO?
So like early memories of Star Wars, like that kind of at Christmas, New Year. Now, when I got to about 15, 16, started earning my own paperboy money, and I then started to, for some reason, I don't know how it got into it, really get into the original trilogy. Maybe it was the time that those special editions came out. But I really got into it, and I was buying figures, books, people were buying me. And at the same time, episode 1, 2, and 3, the prequels were coming out. So I really got into it. And like for then, the next kind of like 10 odd years or something, I was really into, I bought Lego, I was into the films and everything, stickers, all sorts. And it was like, Scott loved Star Wars, buy him that. People were buying me merchandise like for birthdays and stuff. And then I guess I moved on to other things. So revisiting this again, I've got like second wave nostalgia. Yeah. The first time round was nostalgia when I was 16, thinking about it back from the 80s. Now I've got like second wave nostalgia going back and doing it. Revisiting this again. So I'm remembering it both back from the 80s and from kind of like the 90s, 2000s when I was really into it.
Remembering it from the 80s.
Different
and I think this was just after the Phantom Menace and all these come out. George Lucas revisited I class the New Hope and Empire Strikes Back as the originals because they were, but
the original trilogy
sequence of the films is not. Revisited and then redone a lot of the cutscenes.
Oh yeah,
and added special effects.
They're different films.
Yeah,
completely different films.
And to me,
if you watch it on Disney Plus now, it'll be all the edited
stuff. Hilarious stories to tell you about that. Actually.
Yeah, do you agree with some of the changes they've done to sort of
not all of them
modernise it, add bits, special effects? To me, it kind of spoils.
I'd love to watch the original actual VHS.
You can find them somewhere. But no, I don't agree with all of the changes. But I also know that Star Wars is forever being updated, rewritten, the canon's being revised, like even now with things in The Mandalorian and stuff like that. I know we're going way off topic here.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with what they're doing, you know.
There was a bit at the end of Return of the Jedi, I'm sure we'll get to it as we go along. And I was like, wow, I don't remember this bit. Where's this come from?
I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
And to me, it kind of, I was really disappointed because it kind of showed elements of the Phantom Menace, which I didn't like. To me, I wish I hadn't put that in, but I think George Lucas likes to.
You can have
change.
whichever version. The beauty of it is you can have whichever version you want to hold dear to.
Yeah.
Definitely. You just find it hard to access that. If you had a VHS player and a copy of it off eBay or something, you can rewatch it, and that can be your version of it. But yeah.
Okay, so let's go through Return of the Jedi.
Right, so a couple of things I wanted to talk about then. First off, why did we pick Return of the Jedi? Some people, when we talked about this, you go, what are you doing for your next episode, Return of the Jedi? Like, why that one? Well, there's a few reasons. One is Star Wars Day.
Which is today, May the 4th.
Yeah.
May the 4th be with you.
Two is that April 28th, just gone, is the 40th anniversary of the release of Return of the Jedi by some sources. Now, some sources say this is April 28th. Some sources say it's as late as June the 3rd. But I know that cinemas in the UK right now are starting to, on April the 28th, they started their run of celebratory 40th anniversary.
That's cool, yeah.
40 years.
I would have gone and watched it if I hadn't watched it 7 times this week, researching for this podcast.
But which version are they showing? The original?
They'll be showing the one that's in Disney Plus, surely.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
So that's two reasons. Another reason is we wanted to mess with you numerically, like Star Wars has historically done throughout. Yep. We are starting with the 6th in the original trilogy, the 6th film of the original trilogy, if you think about it.
Right, yeah.
Teaching kids how to count in an odd order, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, you know, and then 10's not released yet. You know, that's how Star Wars is teaching kids to count. And it's just personally one of my favourite films. So...
How does it start? The scroll.
Right.
You got this at the top of your head.
Luke Skywalker has returned to his home planet of Tatooine in an attempt to rescue his friend Han Solo from the clutches of the vile gangster Jabba the Hutt. Wait, I've got it.
He's not reading this, by
Little does Luke know that the Galactic Empire has secretly begun construction of a new armored space station, even more powerful than the first dreaded Death Star. Okay, keep it going. Once completed, this new ultimate weapon will spell certain doom for the small band of rebels struggling to restore peace to the galaxy, or something like that.
You could have said anything and I would never but that is good off the top of your head. I wrote down Luke Skywalker will return to his own planet. The first line, I forgot that. So, well done.
So I don't know. Well, I was revising that like on the drive here. Basically.
That is good.
So it starts with the famous scroll, the massive, brilliant, the yellow thing. That's what made it so special as well. That you don't get that in any other film.
No,
every Star Wars starts the same.
Apart
Galaxy
Rogue One.
Yeah, but that's not technically part.
No. So you've got the original trilogy, and then it became the saga.
Sort of spin-off one.
So I have, before that you had the prequel. So it became, you had the original trilogy, which was labelled 4, 5, 6, which confused people.
Yep.
Incidentally, they were put in after. So 77 was the first Star Wars, which was only called Star Wars back then. And then it was re-released under the name New Hope in about 81, 82.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that.
Along with Empire Strikes Back. So then people started to go, hey, what's all this? Episode 4. What do you mean episode 4?
That's confusing.
So it went, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. So you had the original trilogy, and then you had the prequels. So it became called the saga. And now you could define it as a space opera, basically. It's 9 films long.
There can't be many films where there's sequels and they start halfway through the sequels, like Star Wars New Hope is episode 4. And we can imagine Back to the Future starting episode 3. You wouldn't have a bloody clue what's going on and why he's in the Wild West.
Yeah.
So, starts with that. Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. John Williams, the first. Well, I know this is only episode 4. The first John Williams scored film we've covered so far. It's mad that we haven't yet done a John Williams or a Steven Spielberg film from the 80s. But
Steven Spielberg was part of Back to the Future.
Was he? Was he producer or something like that?
Something like that. So he is on the credits.
All right. So George Lucas does not direct this.
No.
Richard Marquardt.
Yeah,
Marquardt. Something, I can't remember his name.
Marquardt.
Which I didn't know until about 10 years ago. I didn't realise that Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes weren't directed by George Lucas. He wrote the story, obviously. But
came up with the ideas.
So it starts with that scroll.
Darth arrives on the... Does he arrive?
Yes, the first scene, often people think it's the desert, but no, it's Darth Vader arriving on the Death Star 2. And...
the footsteps. No, I read the footsteps of him walking. I just thought it would have been his footsteps. These were recorded in old military tunnels. Which is mad. You just thought I'd just record his footsteps, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
so
sound engineers.
Him walking off the ship and that.
Sound engineers have a lot of great tricks up their sleeve.
He arrives with... he was hoping it was going to be built, but the commander was a little bit behind, isn't he?
A little bit behind.
He's like, I haven't finished the toilets yet. We've got the curtains. We've put the curtains up.
Give us more time. And he's like, well, the Emperor's coming. Do you want to...
Perhaps I can find new ways to motivate them.
Yeah.
He's not
as patient. Double our efforts.
I'll work weekends. The wife won't like it, but I'll do Sundays.
Until it's done.
So, the Moff Jerjerrod is his name? What's the guy? The commander.
Yeah.
I'm going early with Die Hard here.
You've got a Die Hard link
already. Okay, so a guy who went for this role, didn't get it, was Alan Rickman.
No way.
Well, so Alan Rickman could have been that guy.
He could have been Moff. Is it? I think his name. Moff Jerjerrod. I think his name is.
Yeah.
So he went for the part.
Blimey. I've got another Die Hard link.
Okay.
Bruce Willis has watched this film.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Well done. Mine's better than yours this week.
Yeah. So then we cut after that kind of telling off and establishing the Emperor's coming to Death Star 2. We go down to Tatooine. and we see C-3PO, Anthony Daniels, and R2-D2, Kenny Baker, trundling along the desert and going up to Jabba's palace, establishing that poor Chewbacca and Lando never came back from this place. They get to the door, knock on the door. That's my nerdiness.
I wrote down. I put subtitles on. First of all, C-3PO knocks. He's like, "There's no one here."
Yeah,
he's wicked it. He just wants to go. And he's like,
"There doesn't seem to be anyone here. Let's go, R2."
He wants to go. He's a bit frightened, and then that thing comes out and says, "Could you?" The subtitle says, "Could you wanky?"
Wanky.
Because yeah, I looked at the subtitle.
Could you wanky because? Oh, I always made up my own. I never even looked. I just Gadget and Guta. That's what I kind of said.
I just saw wanky. Brilliant.
So they're on subtitles, are they?
I did, I put a subtitle of the alien language just to see. Because I thought that said, did that say wanky? It did. That's my favourite.
R2 Daytoa.
Daytoa, yes.
Say 3P Oa. Hadu Jabatu Hutta?
If R2 is 2, how come D2 be
It's
Toa?
lazy writing. Say 3P Oa. C-3PO. Yeah, same thing.
They go and see him, don't they?
So the door opens and they go in and there's a weird spider creature behind them, all things to... And then they come up to...
Scares him, doesn't it?
Jabba's esquire, his secretary.
What's his name?
I did know it. Oh, I did know it. I'm put on the spot. Oh,
I'm too busy remembering the time.
I didn't write it down.
I do know it.
I thought Scott would have it.
I do know it. Bib Fortuna.
That's the one.
There we go. Bib Fortuna.
It's like the elephant.
Do you want a wanga?
Yeah. Do you want
Bib Fortuna kind of brings them in and they do the whole showing of the hologram to seek an audience with your highness to bargain for Solo's life.
Luke, isn't it?
Boshuda. Good old Jabba the Hutt, big slug. First time you originally saw him, because he was brought back in the special editions.
He appeared in New Hope.
In A New Hope. This is the first time you heard of Jabba the Hutt, but you never saw Jabba the Hutt until right now.
That cost $500,000 to make
back in the 80s.
That original, obviously, and it weighed 2,000 pounds.
There's a guy in there, right, or not?
There's like 3 or 4 in there.
Really?
So that's why it couldn't move, because it was such a massive. You never see him moving in the original.
It's just because he's so big.
He's a great big slug.
Move about. Plus, he lives in a nightclub, basically, doesn't he?
He does.
I love where he lives. He's just got music. He's got. I'm not saying I love women chained to me, but he has like women around him.
Twi'lek dancers, old green skinned Twi'lek dancers.
Yeah, I'm sure that
all sorts of species and characters roaming around. Boba Fett's there.
Yeah, he's there just checking out the ladies. He just touches one on the chin, doesn't he, as he walks past.
Yeah,
ladies' man, Boba Fett. What happens next?
So what happens there? So Luke does his hologram and he says, "Nope, he's my favourite decoration, Solo."
Yes.
Oh. What does it cut to then?
Doesn't Leia? Well, we don't know it's Princess Leia, but
Bosch, the character's name at the time.
Yes, the bounty hunter.
Which I read that in the canon, she defeated him and stole basically his costume.
Right. Okay. I wonder why it's called Bosch, because it wasn't actually that.
What?
So a little bit on Bosch, or what his name is. Do you know who did the voice of that?
No.
So the voice of Bosch was Pat Welsh, who also did the voice of E.T.
Right.
So she's played E.T. and Bounty Hunter.
And who did she play on Die Hard?
She unfortunately wasn't on Die Hard.
She could have been a passenger on the aeroplane.
She could have been.
Boy, no, you could have made something up there. We would have totally believed you.
Yeah. Oh, she's a passenger on the airplane.
I thought so. There's
really?
no Die Hard link.
She leads in Chewie.
Yes.
At last, we have the mighty Chewbacca.
That's it.
And threatens to blow the place up if they don't give her the preferred price, which they do.
Yeah, they do. And she wanders off. Mm-hmm. Does she go to Han's?
No, not yet.
Is that not yet? Is it? Okay.
Not yet. So, what stage does she? Oh, she must do it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. She finds out where he is on the war, doesn't she?
Oh, and this time as well, you find out that C-3PO and R2-D2 are being kind of repurposed as a protocol droid or a translator, and R2's
been offered
serve drinks on the
R2-D2
so it's cutting back and forth all in this.
R2-D2 serving Bar-2-D2.
Bar-2-D2, that's brilliant. I've never had that before.
Thank you.
So she goes and rescues old Haniwan from his prison
and freezes him, and like lights come from behind it, which doesn't make sense. Where those lights, it's just like it's the effect of these lights.
It's just supposed to be him heating up out of the
defrosting.
Defrosting out of the carbonite. He's got hibernation sickness. He's blind.
He does really well acting there.
He's brilliant.
It's because he's a bit sweaty, and then he does it like he's blind. He's sort of the way he's acting, and I thought it was quite good acting.
Well, the good thing about this scene as well is that it brings together Han's world into the kind of the trilogy, because you have him a little bit in the first. He's introduced as a character. You know, he obviously gets his arc with Leia in Empire Strikes Back, but you hear about him being a smuggler and having these debts to pay, and nothing really kind of happens. It's just, this is where it kind of, he's reckoning almost, you know, he has to pay the price or make the consequences of his lifestyle, and they have to obviously try and...
It makes me laugh where she unfreezes him and they have a little kiss, and then the curtain falls back behind him. Hey, we're here, surprise!
We were watching you.
And I read that they had to do that because they couldn't move Jabba. They couldn't like just walk him into the room. So that's why they had the curtain behind there.
Yeah.
And it's like, we can see you.
Yeah. So they get captured, obviously recaptured, and Leia is put into a slave uniform.
Yep.
Which is just fantastic. Let's just say that. Her wonderful slave uniform. Then the doors to the palace opens and a lone figure walks in.
I recognise this old boy.
Chokes the Gamorrean
Deliveroo,
guard.
is it?
Yeah.
What's a Deliveroo?
Chokes the Gamorrean guard.
Deliver Luke.
And,
he's on form.
Walks in and again
he just kills those guys. Is it Gregorian guards?
He's
was he just
Gamorrean guards? Yeah, Gamorrean guards, how you want to pronounce it. He could have, but that's not the Jedi way.
He kills more people in this film than Darth Vader does.
Wow. If you include Darth Vader's past with the younglings.
Yeah, true.
But, he goes, talks to Bib Fortuna, uses his Jedi mind trick.
He walks in, everyone's asleep.
Yeah.
They're all asleep in the nightclub in the same place that they were when they were dancing.
So that they got a great lifestyle,
everyone's
right? It's just party.
It's not even nighttime, but they're all asleep. Even C-3PO is facing the other way. I reckon he's having a nap.
And then they wake Jabba up, and he again says, tries his Jedi mind trick on Jabba, and it doesn't work. You weak-minded fool.
Weak-minded fool.
So it only works on the weak-minded or Jedi mind tricks. And
it all goes tits up, doesn't it? And
it is. He gets put into the pit.
Falls into the...
Which again,
rankle.
C-3PO tries to... Master Luke, you're standing on... At that point, I'm standing what? I'm standing on what? All right, I'll move. It's only a tiny trapdoor.
Yeah.
He should have heeded that warning and got out of there. For this great warrior that he's supposed to be...
He falls through a trapdoor.
Falls through the trapdoor. And faces the Rancor.
The Rancor, which is pretty... It's quite a cool creature, this. Only 15 inches high when they were filming it.
Right,
it's only
so
a little model. Very
motion.
clever, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant, and really well done with the fact that he ate that Gamorrean guard. Like, very good animation for back in the 80s.
Do you know the noise of the Rancor was a dashhound sort of tweaked and...
It does sound very... Yeah, I can see that.
Basically a dog.
It does sound very doggy, especially to cut a spoiler, but when Luke kills it, it sounds very much like if you've ever owned a dog, like just a dog relaxing.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Anyway...
He does kill it, and I love
He does kill it, he puts the bone in the mouth and he snaps it, and he uses it, not using any of his force powers, even.
Yeah.
This is what frustrates me. When he runs through and gets to that door, and then he sees his way of, he throws a rock to bring that door
skull.
down.
I think it's a skull.
Or skull.
Yeah.
Why doesn't he use the force? Why doesn't he go, either press the button or bring the door down? Why does he have to throw a rock? It's inconsistencies in the force. Yeah. Anyway, so
the owner comes in, the
Rancor Wrangler, and he's all sad.
Yeah, he's gutted that his pet died. He's got a bad job looking after that thing, probably clearing out after it and like.
Yeah, that's a hell of a thing to.
What a job, eh?
Jesus.
He loved it because he was sad when it died. So
So, they bring Han in and Luke together, and they're like, how are we doing? Together at last, huh? Same as always, and all that stuff.
Going bad.
And it divulges that they're going to the Sarlacc pit to be thrown into the Sarlacc pit where they will be digested slowly over 1,000 years.
Yes, the Sarlacc that looks like the plant is out of Little Shop of Horrors.
Only from the special editions onward, though.
Right, okay.
So in the 80s, it was just a pit. There was very little going on.
Didn't see it. They put that in.
I don't remember that bit from the original.
No. The moving parts, only in the special editions onwards.
Venus flytrap, it looks like, that sort of thing.
So they made it more of a live thing rather than just a pit that did nothing. Yeah. So they're on the barge, they're being taken to it, and Luke's going, just stay close to me, I'll... This is brilliant.
Do you know what the ship's called? Do you know what Jabba's ship's called?
I only know it as his the desert sail barge or sail barge.
I think it's called the Kitana.
The Katana.
Khetana.
Very
Amazing.
good.
Did you have that on subtitles as well?
I did have that on subtitles. Yeah. No, I looked that one up.
C-3PO meets R2 and finds out where he is. Han's just going like, oh, great.
Can't see much, can he?
Can't see much, but also he's very downbeat. He's just like, Luke's like, I'll get us out of this. He's like, oh, yeah, great. Yeah, you're here. This is going to be great. He's such a lad, isn't he? Oh, great. Yeah, you'll save us. Yeah, we're going to die,
But he has a plan. Oh, Luke has a plan.
Luke has a plan.
Always has a plan.
Involving R2, is it?
Yeah.
Yes, he is the...
So you guys...
Yeah, because R2's got the...
A fan of Family Guy at all?
No, I haven't really seen many.
Part of my research for this, they covered all 3 Star Wars films and satire in it. Now, one of the funniest bits of the satire is when they get to this bit when the plan's just about to be activated. Luke's about to be pushed in, and it does this thing where it looks between all the main characters and does like a horn thing. Like, bam.
Right, yes, because he sort of looks and nods, doesn't he?
Now, it goes on 7 times in the film. There's 7 kind of bam, bam looking around and preparing for it. And it does feel unusually long, but like the Family Guy thing does it about 25 times. Just like back and forth looking at each other and stuff like that.
That's funny.
And boom, the R2 throws the lightsaber, Luke catches it, and we see for the first time a green lightsaber.
Because all the posters are blue, aren't they?
Yep. Even the poster we have here is blue.
Which we put on Instagram.
A green lightsaber. So that was the big reveal. And again, that's, I think, my favourite colour.
Do you know why it's green?
Is it easy? Something to do with easy of the special effects?
So that scene with the blue sky, they thought they'd have a green lightsaber rather than a blue one.
Oh, I see.
It just shows up better if it's blue. They might not see it.
And Luke goes on the rampage trying to...
Literally kill it. He's just slashing away, isn't he?
Yeah. We warned him. He warned Jabba.
Yeah.
He warned Jabba. But there are some awful editing bits here. There's a kick that Luke does. It's quite famous, actually, for being just about a foot off the mark. Like he's trying to kick and just goes, and falls down.
Not as bad as Boba Fett's death, though.
I was going to say, that was a bit lame, wasn't it? He just
It was like Frank Spencer.
He was, for all his badassness in Empire Strikes Back, he went out a bit of a lame way.
Yeah, first of all, he landed on the ship. He flew off and landed on the ship, and someone just cuts his gun
Luke
off.
just, boom, gun gone.
Yeah, because he flew across and then poof.
Then he's shooting and missing by about 4 foot. And he's about 5 foot away.
He wraps Luke up in a thing, and Luke deflects the laser bolt, and he gets pulled down.
Yeah.
And then Luke jumps off, and Han accidentally spins around when he's still blind, hits into his backpack, and flies him off.
For a badass, it's Boba Fett.
Yeah.
I think they were gutted about that. I think
I mean, at the time, it was just like a baddie that they killed.
Should have done that better.
But it left him for all these comics and speculations about whether or not he was still alive, whether Boba Fett could escape. And these days, it's canon that he does. In fact, changed the actor, changed his whole heritage. But I can go into that another time.
Leia gets her own back on old Jabba.
Oh, yeah, strangles him.
They did ask her if she wanted a stunt double for this part. And she was like, hell no, I'm doing this.
I mean, she's hot.
Yeah, she's good. She's very good looking, pretty lady.
But like you and I were talking earlier, when you're younger, you're 10, you don't find her attractive.
No, well, she's old. When you're 10, a 26, 7-year-old is old.
Yeah.
When you're 10, you like
It's just like when you're a younger our age.
Yeah, exactly.
Appreciate how nice that outfit is.
Yeah, she's a very good looking lady.
So they kill Jabba, they escape, and let's go. And don't forget the droids. They pick up a lot and buried in the sand. And there they've just got the first act done.
Yeah,
you know,
that's a good scene. Quite a lot happened there, didn't it? Ship blows up.
So then it divulges, and there are some extra scenes that will cut out. Like these are on Disney Plus, but you've got like there's a whole desert sandstorm that they're supposed to be wading through and stuff like that. These you can find all these. Yeah, that was all cut out with it. But they fly off, and then
it goes to Darth meeting the Emperor next.
Yes, so the Emperor arrives at the station. Rise, my friend.
That's it. He gets there. But he's pleased the work's been done this time.
Yeah.
The bathrooms have been done now.
You've done well, Lord Vader. And now I sense you want to go and find your son. Yeah.
Did you know the Emperor in Empire Strikes Back was played by a lady?
Well, what part?
So the Emperor in Empire Strikes Back... You know, it's more of a hologram. It was more of a hologram, wasn't it?
Okay, you're talking the first time that this was back in the 80s.
Back in the old times,
completely different look, aesthetic. Yeah, it's the first time you see the Emperor.
It was a makeup guy's wife, and then they superimposed like chimp eyes on the eyes to make it.
Oh, right.
So the very original.
I do, remember that. The first time we saw Empire Strikes Back, the Emperor is completely different.
And obviously in Return of the Jedi, he's more of a prominent role.
McDermott,
yeah.
And they've got an actual actor, and then he's played it ever since, all the way up into episode 9, which...
Yes.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah. When he's back.
And he's back. So, it's... he wants to resume his search for Skywalker. Luke goes off to Dagobah to find Yoda.
Poor old R2's like, God, not again. We come back to that dump.
Exactly.
It's in the back. Where are we going? Dagobah says,
goes back to find a withered, old, aged Yoda, basically on his deathbed. Luke happens to catch him at the moment that he is going to die.
That face you make.
And
look, I so old to young eyes.
Old to young eyes. I do.
Yes, I do.
He's settling down to die, and he's like, Luke's just banging away at questions.
Come on. What happens next? Am I a Jedi? What's going on?
Yeah, he's trying to die.
Peace.
Poor old Yoda. Yeah, he even turns over at one point and covers his blanket.
He does, but he's only Luke only asking for the truth, and he kind of goes, another time, maybe.
Yeah, you're right.
What do you mean another time? He's just about to die, mate.
Yeah.
He's so reluctant to tell him the truth. They're so mean to Luke, aren't they? Really?
Yeah, when you think about it, the only person that tells the truth is Darth Vader.
Yeah, that's it.
Did you know that Yoda was only added for this reason, just to let Luke know that Darth Vader was his dad? Because a lot of people thought, coming from Darth in the previous film, is he telling the truth? So they needed a valid source. That's why they brought Yoda back for this.
Well, they doubled down as well, because Obi-Wan comes in straight after, doesn't he? Force Ghost.
Yeah. Because even the guy who played, is it James Earl Jones? Mm-hmm. He didn't even think, he was like, is Darth Vader really his dad? Even he was doing the voice of it, yeah. So that's why they brought Yoda back, just for that scene.
Yeah.
And he pops it.
I mean, again, for 80s animatronic live action puppetry, let's say, really well done, really convincing, even to this day. You know, you compare it to like Stan Winston, Jim Henson kind of creature effects.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
It is brilliant.
Yeah,
it's great. Yeah, way better than CG, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I mean, they tried CG all the way up until episode 1. I think episode 1 still still live puppeteering, but then Yoda's been CG ever since.
When gone am I, the last of the Jedi you will be. Did have my own voice this time.
Oh, really?
Beautiful.
But still, he's not a Jedi, is he? Because he has to face his father.
Yes.
So, like this weird, kind of weird element that he has to face his father. He has to face Darth Vader to become a Jedi. I don't remember any of the other Jedis having to face Darth Vader to become a Jedi. No. So it was really odd that they make him do that. But all confirmed by... Well, there was another Skywalker, revealed that there's another Skywalker as well.
Was that them, was it? Is that when he realizes that?
Just as he's dying, his last words are, there is
by the way, you got a sister, mate.
There is another Skywalker. He doesn't actually say you got a sister.
No, his sister does it.
Another Skywalker. Again, as an audience member, you're like, well, what does that mean?
Can that be?
You know?
It can't be that woman he was nearly getting off with earlier, can it?
Yeah, controversial.
Perhaps it
is. Always a funny thing. Where he kissed her in When did he kiss her? Empire Strikes Back?
I don't know.
I think it was Empire Strikes Back.
I know it's a Star Wars
Oh, he
film.
did it in New Hope. There was a brief peck, and in Empire Strikes Back, he kisses her as well, or she
Yeah.
kisses him. But they don't know they're brother and sister at that point. Weird.
Bit like last film with old McFly's.
Yeah.
McFly's right. The
They did like a
Skywalker's
little
right.
bit of
What's going on?
implied incest in the 80s, didn't they?
When we go to the briefing scene, I wrote down here when they're all on the.
Yeah. So the briefing scene.
What happens here, Scott?
What's her name? The woman. I didn't know.
Moff. Is it Moff Monman? Or Moff something?
It is, yeah. Oh God, I'm putting I know all this off my heart, and then put on.
I might be wrong.
I'll get back to it. She is basically, again, reliving the episode 4, A New Hope.
She's very posh. She just comes in. The first thing she says is, "The Emperor's made a critical error.
Yeah.
And the time for our attack has come." And she says it really.
Mon Mothma.
Mon Mothma. Oh, is that okay?
That's the name. Yeah, Mon Mothma.
I think I said something like that. Might have been wrong.
And Lando and Han have a little kind of chat and realise they're generals.
Yeah, he got promoted.
Yeah.
By the way, I've been promoted. David Brent.
It's just, I don't know, in any film series, do they kind of just like repeat the exact same plan? The Empire's just gone, boom, the first one blew up. Let's build another one and let's not improve on the design. Oh yeah, there's no trench now. It's still a big hole. Yeah, there's still a big hole.
But you can blow it up.
There's no trench.
Easy.
So yeah, plans to kind of do the exact same thing. Well, a little different, sorry, because they got to deactivate the force field from the forest moon.
Well, similar thing in Force Awakens.
The Force Awakens is exactly the same film.
Yeah.
They do the same. The Empire are just like, big ass super weapon. Will it not get blown up? No.
That'd be fine.
Bang. Well, the next one won't get blown up.
That'd be fine.
Bang. Let's do that big ass super weapon even bigger this time.
It'd be fine.
Bang. At least they didn't do it a
Learn
fourth
from your
time.
mistakes, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
Admiral Akbar's introduced. I love him. He is great.
Yeah. Good old fishy man. Fishy McFish sticks.
Oh, I love him. He is brilliant.
So Mon Mothma was saying like, a group of rebels will go down to the moon and deactivate the force shield.
Did they nick it? They nicked a ship. Did they nick?
They stole, and then they have an imperial shuttle.
Imperial shuttle. Okay.
I've got some folks to say about the next bit. So it's revealed like, I wonder who's going to do that, and Han's like, me?
Yeah. We've assembled a team.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then that's when Luke walks in and goes, "I'm with you too."
Yeah. Chewie's like.
And Leia senses something's up. What's wrong? Ask me again sometime. So they get on the shuttle.
Chewie's complaining about the size of the cockpit. He says, and
I
Han's
know that Han always understands.
it wasn't built for
I don't think
Wookiees.
I don't think they had Wookiees in mind when they built it, Chewie. A little bit of callback to the, he's lending the Millennium Falcon to Lando.
This is the only film where he does only film out the original 3 where Han Solo doesn't fly the Millennium Falcon.
Who's flying it when they leave?
Lando flies it because he says to him, doesn't he, like take care of it or something like that?
Yeah, I won't scratch it.
No, but who flies it? When
I won't
they're
even
leaving?
put a scratch on it. He keeps saying I won't scratch it.
When they leave Tatooine, who flies it then? Are you sure?
Oh, I'm pretty sure he doesn't fly it at all. Let's carry on to the next bit.
Do you even see the cockpit? You might not even see the cockpit. I think you only hear Han talk over the...
Because Lando flies out, doesn't he?
Because they go separate ways. Anyway, so you don't see Han in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon in this film. That's interesting.
Yeah, let's watch it again.
So they're in the Imperial shuttle. They've got an older code to transport. It's an older code, sir. But this is what I have a real problem with. If you're trying to sneak into Imperial airspace where, you're worried, why? Oh, why do you fly right in front of the bridge of the biggest Star Destroyer that you can find? They fly right in front of it. You want to kind of sneak in, And
then Han says to Chewie, like,
fly casual.
Fly casual.
Don't act like casual. And she was like, what the hell are you talking about? I don't know. Fly casual.
What I thought was funny is all of a sudden Darth Vader's in the mission control area.
Yeah.
Like, what's that ship doing?
And he
there?
just notices this. Well, the implication is that he can sense.
Yeah.
Vader's on that ship. I'm endangering the mission. I shouldn't come.
I thought like he would be
Where is that shuttle going?
More important job than just sort of standing around. Yeah.
But they get through with an older code. It's an older code, sir, but I was about to clear it. But it checks out. I was about to clear them. And they get kind of cleared to go down to the forest moon of Endor. And do their little mission where they find the bunker. Or they don't find the bunker straight away, do they? They kind of they see a couple of scout troopers.
Yes,
new additions. You had stormtroopers in New Hope. You had snow troopers in Back to the Future, and now we've got scout troopers
on speeder bikes.
On speeder bikes again. You know, New Hope, desert and space.
Yeah,
this is Empire Strikes Back. You know, snow, Arctic tundra and space. This one you've got forest and space. So you can see every film has a theme and a kind of like environment.
A chase straight away, isn't there?
Straight away. You know, Han F's up his attempt to sneak up and take on the scout troopers, and they get on the speeder bikes.
Luke gets on one and Leia gets on one?
Yes.
And they go off like...
No, they get on the same one.
They get on the same one.
So, they get on the same one, and then Luke jumps across and...
knocks the bloke off and he...
Yeah,
hits into it. So I mean, those are some hard ass impacts. Into those great big trees.
Bloody good. You mean the size of the trees and stuff. I mean, to go at those speeds in the forest.
Yeah, and they go for like I don't know how many miles, and then Leia falls off something, and then
they just jog and find her helmet.
Luke just casually jogs back and says, I'm back now.
Yeah,
you must have, unless they must be going around in circles.
That's one of the things that doesn't make sense too much. But great new kind of addition to the special effects and the speed and the sort of chasing and, you know, the lasers, and another bit where Luke looks cool. You know, he gets tied up with someone, doesn't he? And then he jumps off. That guy circles around and starts firing him, and he does his laser bolt deflecting.
That's cool, isn't it?
Is that the first time we see a lightsaber deflecting lasers?
Did he do it on the ship with Jabba?
Of course he did. So this is the first movie, though, that we see that, isn't it?
Deflects it, I don't know.
I can't remember it in Empire.
He deflects the toy thing on the first one, doesn't he?
Okay, yeah, of course.
But not really.
Well, that was training.
That's training, yeah.
But it implies that you can deflect lasers. Okay, that's fine, sorry. But he does that and then uses the Force to cut off the front stabilizer off that bike as he's flying by, sending him into a spiral, and then boom! Explosion. Circles back, finds the rest of the group and go, where's Leia? I thought she was with you. Well, she didn't come back.
This is when we meet the Ewoks.
And Leia meets the little indigenous people, the Ewoks. Wicket, played by none other than Warwick Davis.
Warwick Davis, legend. I love Warwick Davis.
Yeah.
It was going to be Wookiees. They were going to land on a planet of Wookiees. But
Kashyyyk, they would have had to have landed on Kashyyyk.
Yeah, they've had to have had a lot of actors who were nearly 7 foot.
Yeah, PMA, he was pretty special.
They found, as easy to find, I guess it was dwarfs that played the roles.
Yeah.
So that's what, and also the Wookiees are a bit more advanced in technology. So they wanted someone to have, you know, that's why they made up the Ewoks, so they can have spears rather than what the Wookiees have.
Bowcasters.
Don't swear.
So Leia is introduced to, and they have a little, introduced to Wicket. They have a little tiz-was with a scout trooper who finds them. Wicket helps them escape. And within the space of a couple of minutes from suspecting her as an enemy, is suddenly friends with her, holding her hands and walking off into the forest while they defeat a scout trooper together. Where are we at?
There's a trap, isn't there? The Ewoks capture C-3PO. Chewie thinks that's food.
So they're searching. Yeah, they find Leia's helmet.
Chewie gets packaged. I'll just eat his dead animal.
Yeah, dead animal.
This looks nice.
Great, Chewie. Always thinking with your stomach. And then they get caught up in that net. They free themselves with R2 little buzzsaw thing.
Yeah. And they fall to the floor. This is when C-3PO, they think he's a god.
Yeah. This scene always irritated me. Surely, I don't know, maybe it's the fact that they're Jedi and they're supposed to use their powers and knowledge and defense. But Luke and all of them, they could have done something to better defend. They just kind of rolled over and almost let themselves get cooked alive.
Yeah.
Like they are on the spit of the Ewoks kind of camp, and like a flame is being held up to
All the powers that he's got.
and it was a bit an odd way of resolving the situation. Anyway, they do.
Yeah.
The Ewoks think that C-3PO is some sort of god.
Leia turns out with like her hair's all nice, like she's been in the shower.
Yeah.
She's got like all nice long hair.
At no point
Hair straighteners.
Yeah, she must have took some hair straighteners with her.
Who's done her braids? Yeah. At no point does C-3PO have the thought to Ewoks. Those are my friends. Don't kill them. But no, he has to be told by Luke to pretend to be a god, and Luke levitates.
He's a nightmare,
around.
C-3PO, isn't he?
He is a nightmare. I think
If you need a language translator, he's all right. But other than that, he's just
6 billion forms of communication. Or whatever.
yeah.
So then, they're freed, and they're all chatting around campfire. C-3PO's retelling the whole story.
Oh, yeah, he's good at sound effects, actually.
He's brilliant at sound effects.
Nearly as good as my Chewie and my Yoda.
Luke kind of walks off. Leia walks in and just have a chat to him, and he basically tells her that he has to go and fight Vader.
Oh, yeah, he goes, doesn't he?
Yeah, and she's like, why? And also tells her that the Force is strong as my family. I have it, my father has it, and my sister has it.
Yeah, this is a lot of information from poor old Leia to take it. It's like, I'm your brother, and by the way, Darth Vader's your dad.
Yeah. And her reaction is kind of like a lot of theories that's why she's not as strong. She'd be a Sith, because she straight away wanted to run rather than confront her fears. But I mean, you're right. A lot of information is taken on.
I know, poor Leia.
Han comes and goes, what the hell's going on? You having something with Luke there?
Yeah, he's going to... Yeah.
Because he doesn't know, obviously.
No.
And then Luke goes off. We don't see this bit, but surrenders himself to his to the Galactic Empire, who then bring him to Darth Vader. And then they have their little father-son moment. I know, Father. So, you have accepted the truth. I have accepted the truth that you were once Anakin Skywalker.
That's it.
That name no longer has importance to me. Great little thing. And you can see right here, it's the first time you see Darth Vader's weakness. There is still good on him.
Yeah.
He hesitates.
This is the first... Yeah, I thought that.
Doesn't want to.
He doesn't want to.
Yeah.
You can start to see where we're going. You know, it's too late for me. So.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't he say, he said, I don't want to hurt my son or something along those lines? I seem to...
You know, after I
He does start to have the odd nice feeling, doesn't he?
Yeah, and that's just Luke saying, I can feel the good in him. There's good in him.
Yeah, by saying I've gone too far, or whatever he says, that is a way of saying I could if I would, mate. But
yeah, but the Emperor's got me.
I can't. I'm Darth Vader.
Yeah. So he's taken up to the space Death Star, space.
Oh yeah,
Death
he
Star
goes and sees the Emperor.
Darth Vader brings him to the Emperor.
Who are those cool red guards?
Those
what are they called?
are the Royal. Oh no,
they're like the SAS of the stormtroopers.
They're basically the custodians of the Emperor. If you were talking Warhammer 40k, they're the Adeptus Custodes. Let's see if anybody here listening gets that. But they're there is a name for them.
It's definitely the SAS.
Yeah.
Space Army soldiers.
They're like the Imperial Guards or something like that. I can't remember. I did it. Crimson Guard.
They look cool, don't they?
Yeah. And they're popped up in all the different things as well. All the different films they kind of related to. And this starts like the main push, the climax, number kind of set 3 or Act 3 of the big space battle, the big 3 battles, 3 storylines kind of converging on one.
So the
space battle, Ewok battle.
They've realised that they're going to help.
Yeah.
Like short help,
which they do brilliantly.
Yeah,
distracting by crap, not onto that speeder bike and speeding.
Yeah, they start off like just messing everything up, don't they? Bless them.
Yeah.
Bless those little Ewoks.
The Emperor's trying to convince Luke, or trying to wind him up, basically.
Yeah, he is having
and Lando's kind of bringing the fleet back to the Death Star to launch their massive attack.
He's in the Millennium Falcon with what's that guy called?
Neemnum.
The
Celestian.
Did you know he's speaking a language? It's actually some sort of language, a Kenyan language.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know much about languages, but he is speaking a language, and they had this like Kenyan guy to do the voice of him. So when it was played in Kenya, I guess that he was actually saying something.
You can say something. Really
it's not just a made-up alien language.
Yeah.
There's that bit where always makes me laugh when they're in that bunker and one of the guards just comes into hands and he just says, "You rebel scum."
You rebel scum.
What he had like 3 lines to say, 3 words to say.
Again, on the deleted scenes, like Han has a bit of a back and forth with him as well. There's a bit more of that scene.
That makes sense then, because it's just like...
He goes in and he's like, "Scum? Who are you calling scum?"
Yeah, that makes sense. Where it's just like, "You rebel scum."
You rebel scum. So yeah, they
Sound like Sean Connery then.
they get
Rebel scum.
betrayed, or they get the trap is sprung.
Yeah,
and then,
it's a trap.
Yeah, that's it. You know,
My boy Akbar says that.
he's like, "We've got to be like Lando's. We've got to be trying to get some sort of reading on that shield, up or down." It's like, "Well, they're jamming us. How could they be jamming us if they don't know
Yeah, you realise this.
don't know we're coming? It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap." Or down from Akbar, and then
It's brilliant.
slowly being wound up. Oh, Luke, and then
He's looking through the window, isn't he? And like the Emperor's saying to
At
him,
the space battle
your friends
happening.
are just... Look out the window there, because your friends are just...
yeah.
And not much happens in that shot. You just see the ships are hardly moving. You see a little bit of flashing.
which is pretty accurate, I guess.
Amazing effects, yeah, actually.
And, it all seems lost. Han's not going to get the shield down. Luke's going to be killed or turned to the dark side. And the space battle is going to be won by the Empire, even though the fighters are only attacked.
They got to deactivate the shield. Have we said that? That's what they've gone down to Endor for, isn't it? Yeah.
To deactivate the shield. But they did not, the Emperor did not count on the Ewoks, the Endorians, as we can call them.
Right.
They did not count upon the indigenous species fighting.
They start putting their finger out and doing well
with
now, don't they?
sticks and stones and bow and arrows and spears and logs and traps,
come and crush
which they conveniently have time to build, even though it probably took a long time and there's no reason for them to have any of that.
Throwing rocks at a scout trooper and a rockets him, he just falls over and dies. So he's got his armour on. How crap are these?
Stormtroopers are useless.
They're weak.
They're
yeah.
useless.
So
They do well to defeat the ATSTs, though, the Armored Transport Scout Troopers, the walking chicken leg thing.
Yeah, because there's a scene where Chewie... he goes in there, doesn't he?
He swings on top and he makes this like
Yeah. So the guy on the right of that, that's the director.
Right, that's Mission Mark 1.
He plays that guy on the right. I think Chewie pulls...
He pulls him out, he pulls him straight up and out and throws him off.
So the one that's still in there on that scene is the director.
Right, and then he gets beaten to death by Ewoks.
Yeah.
And then they've got suddenly an ATST and they go and just destroy.
Yeah, blowing up stuff. And there's that sad scene where one Ewok dies.
I was just thinking about that emotional scene. It's not all cutesy. Actually, Ewoks are dying left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
So it has to be a little pull on the heartstrings.
Yeah, it's not when was sad that bit.
Yeah, but it's supposed to make sure that there is consequence to war.
Yeah. Have we had the Death Star firing yet? Or was that before?
No. So this is about again the culmination of all this story.
What's going on here?
The Emperor's trying to wind him up even more, and it's like, oh, and by the way, your friends are dying. And by the way, this space station fully armed and operational.
It's only half built.
Yeah,
toilets ain't in.
Yeah,
but we can.
But the main gun works. And now, because in A New Hope, it was a planet killer. It could only destroy planets. Now it can target individual ships as well. So it makes it even more deadly.
And it can fire quicker.
It can fire quicker, and it can hit smaller targets. So Admiral Akbar's just like, we got to go. And then Lando's like, no, Han will have a shield down. We've got to give him more time. And again, to cut a long story short, 'cause we're running on a little bit of time now.
Yeah, what's going on?
Han succeeds. With the help, he has to hotwire the door and then trick them to come out with the ATST. But he blows up the shield generator, and then it's all hands to attack stations, flying straight in that, I presume, is an exhaust port. Why there is a portal all the way, or a tunnel all the way to the centre of the Death Star, I do not know.
Make it easy.
Why they've not put at least a mesh to stop anyone flying in.
Brick it up.
Yeah, exactly. But they do blow it up, and Vader's fighting Luke. This is the big fight scene.
The big fight scene, yeah. He chucks his lightsaber. First time I've seen a lightsaber.
First time you see a lightsaber being thrown or projected. Luke's doing some cool acrobatics. That I feel the good in you, the conflict, and blah, yada, yada. Green versus red. Cool lightsaber, cool special effects.
Good fight. And he says about his sister, doesn't he? Like, what winds Luke up. Well, by the way, your sister was...
Right, so if you can't be swayed, I'll kill you. And I'll go... Yeah, I'll go and get your sister.
What?
And Luke goes full rage mode.
Yeah.
defeats Darth Vader, chops off his hand. And
this is when the old Emperor turns up.
yeah.
He's coming down the stairs and he's laughing.
Good. Feed your anger. And just like, strike your fathers down and take his
By the
place.
way, I can send lightning out my hands.
Yeah.
This is the scene where so he's electrocuting Luke on the floor, and Darth Vader's looking, isn't he? He's looking at Luke and he's looking. And it's like that helmet's the same all the time, but it looks like there's emotion on the helmet.
Absolutely.
It's like they've changed the helmet to make it look like a little bit of a sad
very good.
helmet.
It's very good. Now, this is where, I don't know if you were talking about this earlier, Paul. I watched this on Disney Plus last week, and then Vader says no twice. He goes no, and then he goes no.
Yeah.
That is completely new. Either I've watched that and I'd forgotten about it, or I've never seen this cut, because that was just like, I was watching it going, wait a second, that never happened.
Yeah, this is new.
And
Because the second one's quite long. No.
yeah, and those are taken from episode 3. Those are taken from previous kind of recordings. They weren't recorded especially, but I was like, that's completely different to how I remember it, because yeah, they've got the cut where he does say no and he doesn't say no. I actually prefer when he doesn't, because you feel the internal struggle. Like you said, you see the emotion on his face and his movement and
Just
his
on the
kind
helmet.
of flip. Picks the Emperor up. So whichever version you prefer, I prefer the one where he's silent. He just picks him up. The famous, you see his skeleton kind of shining through.
Yeah,
his things,
his skeleton,
and throws him off the edge. And for what we think is dead forever.
Yeah.
Until
Let's
20,
say he's
30,
dead.
40 years later.
Let's say
he's dead.
He died in the 80s.
He died in the 80s. And the idea is he's redeemed himself. And
So he has to take off his. He wants him to take off his.
He wanted to see his son with his own eyes.
Yeah.
And then when he takes his helmet off, like it just it's like Humpty Dumpty head. It's like a very.
It's supposed to
he looks
show
like
how
a
the
nice,
dark
kind
side-
old man.
It's supposed to show how the dark side can ruin and ravage you.
And then as he dies, the Death March is played on a piano, and it's like that's quite a cool effect.
It's a bit like an EastEnders scene
Yes.
where you're leaving EastEnders
good
for the
point.
last time.
Yeah.
So Luke managed to escape as the Death Star blows up.
Darth Vader walks past the Queen Vic to the train
Straight to
station.
the laundrette.
The Millennium Falcon's flying out. The flames are all around it. Comes out. Boom. Second Death Star explosion in the trilogy. And what we presume is for good. And again, 2 different versions. You've got the original 80s Yub Nub kind of like celebration song, where it's like fireworks are going off and they're all celebrating in the campfire. But you've got the newer version, which is another John Williams track, which is all like kind of celebratory pipes and whistles and stuff like that. And you see Coruscant, you see Naboo, you see all the different planets.
Jar Jar Binks says something, doesn't he?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he says, "We are free."
I don't remember that.
Yeah,
I must have missed that. Maybe
yeah.
I was looking at my phone or something.
Just see him on top of a building. He's like, "We are free."
This is where I kind of all these extra bits.
Yeah.
It's like
Party time.
Again, which version do you prefer? To me, I do think I prefer the original Yub Nub and the original version where he doesn't shout no.
Yeah.
I think that's my ending. But you can have it.
I suppose with us where we've grown up,
we've seen both.
we've seen both, and I think there's probably been other tweaks in between as well. To us, I think we like the original how it was and don't like them tweaking and messing around with it. And I suppose, like Emil, he's probably never seen it. If he was to watch the
It's
original one, he'd
constantly
probably
evolving.
like, well, where's this bit gone? It doesn't kind of make sense.
They're constantly evolving.
And that's it. And then the ghosts show the.
And one more point on that same thing. Originally, when you see the old Vader actor, not David Prowse, of course, but the older version of Anakin Skywalker.
Sebastian Shaw, was it? Who played Anakin?
There's that special sure, is it?
Yeah, but then the new ones, it's old.
And then they've done
Hayden.
Hayden,
Christian.
which
So,
doesn't to me make sense.
He looks
Why
really-
would he be younger when come back as his Force Ghost?
Yeah.
It made perfect sense him being a Force Ghost version of his older self. But it was to entice and make the continuity for people who like the trilogy. So I can kind of see where they're going, but not for me. It needed to be the older version. Because why would Obi-Wan be older?
Yeah.
You can't pick the age that you show your
You
ghost
don't get
at.
a young Yoda, do you?
That annoyed me. But again, I might have annoyed lots of listeners by saying that. But my original ending, original ending. Vader not saying no, the Force Ghost being old Sebastian Shaw, and the just yub nub kind of theme tune.
Yeah.
To me, that's how I like to think of it.
Shall we do some favourites? Favourite scenes, lines and character. You start, Scott. Your favourite scene, line and character.
Favourite scene... Favourite scene would probably be Luke catching his lightsaber on the katana, as it were, and going loco on there. Favourite line, probably something that Han Solo says, because Han Solo is awesome.
He's funny in that.
Delusions of grandeur. Everyone's got delusions of grandeur or something like that. And favourite character, very tough.
It's a tough one.
Very tough. You have to leave me with that one. I can't think. There's too many good characters.
You got any, Paul?
I mean, like a lot of the Star Wars films, I think they finish so well.
Yeah.
Probably one of my favourite scenes is probably that Darth Vader being cremated. Mm-hmm. I kind of like that, the kind of music and the atmosphere around it. Favourite line? Possibly, I don't know. I mean, there's just, like you said, there's a few, but I mean, I kind of like the bit where Han Solo's believes that there's a thing going on between Princess Leia and Luke Skywalker, and then she just turns around and says, "He's my brother," and he's like,
he's loving it.
He does. He's relieved and confused, and get back in.
And it kind of, you kind of feel where that story's then going to go.
R2's my favourite character, by the way.
So, he's cool.
I think the Ewoks are my favourite. No particular Ewok, but I just think they're fantastic.
Yeah.
I like the Speeder Beaks. The Speeder Bike scene.
Yeah.
My line was, "It's a trap.
It's a trap. It's a trap."
Followed by the wanky line that we said earlier. My favourite character now, Admiral Akbar.
Very good.
Basically, he's a fish and he's an admiral, so come on. Let's give him some credit. His hands are like flippers, yet you can fly a spaceship. That's got to be tough. That's one thing. His first name, I've looked it up, is Guile, Gial.
Well, Guile Akbar.
Yeah, I've got a little few facts on him. He assisted in designing the B-Wing as well. I've looked into
this is so I've not got into all the different ships, of course, the B-Wing, the A-Wing, the X-Wing, the Y-Wing. There's like in some later games and stuff, you got U-Wings and V-Wings.
So he helped design
the B-Wing.
He was a slave to Grand Moff Tarkin as well. So not only is he can fly a spaceship as a fish, he was a slave and got through all that. And a couple of little facts on him which are quite funny. He has got, if you go on YouTube and type in Akbar the Star Wars talk show, he basically plays a talk show host like
Jerry
Springer, rest in peace. And he plays the talk show host of this. It's like a cartoon animated.
That's brilliant.
Also, a university in Mississippi they had a poll for their new mascot. What can our mascot be? And a bit like, was it Boaty McBoatface? And everyone voted. So this was going to be Akbar, what was going to be their mascot.
Brilliant.
It got overruled. So Akbar's my...
Admiral Akbar.
Admiral Akbar.
It's a trap.
And now time for the Retro Movie Geek Quiz. Return of the Jedi.
Okay, here we go. We've got 7 questions this week. The buzzers are back. Mm-hmm. They were the best bit of the quiz last time. The shambles that we had. Okay, we've got 7 questions for you both. Paul, if you win this quiz,
it'd be a bloody miracle.
I'll do the next podcast naked.
Oh no, I'm not.
Pressure's on now.
Hang on, how do you turn this off? There you go, your dinner underneath this.
It's a baked bean, is it? It's probably Freddy's. Right, okay. Question 1. How old was Yoda?
I answered this over a week ago.
Scott, go on.
And I pressed the buzzer first.
Paul pressed the buzzer first there.
Well, yeah, but I did answer this a week ago.
Go on, you can both say it together. How
900 years old.
So how old? The question is, how old was Yoda on his 18th birthday?
Piss off.
Right, you can have 1 point
Sorry,
each.
I
There.
I was hoping to get 1 point ahead then.
1-1. So in the series, it is actually 1-1 in
quizzes.
In quizzes, and it's actually 1-1 now. Okay, right. Question 2. What are Darth Vader's final 3 words? Paul.
No.
Good. I like it, but I can't give you
You
that.
already have. No, you were right about me.
I'll give it you.
Who, me?
I'll give it you, Scott, because it was better than Paul's breathing.
So it's just like I can save you. And it's like you already have. You were right about. Tell your sister you were right about me. Something like that.
You were right at the last
were
3
right.
words.
You have failed me for the last time.
We'll give it you, Scott, because I don't want to be naked in the next quiz. Question 3. Luke battles with Darth towards the end of the movie and cuts off Darth's hand. Was it his left or right? Scott?
Right hand.
It was his right hand. Write down the scores. That's 3-1.
That's questionable. Who pressed the buzzer first?
What question are we on now? We're on 4, aren't we? Okay. What squadron?
Gold.
What squadron did Lando lead in the assault on Death Star? It's the Gold. Paul.
Gold.
Oh, well done. Right. Next question. Just see if you can get the answer, Scott, before I even read anything.
Right, what's the answer?
Okay. Question 5. Do you know
Is there any way back for me?
There isn't, I'm afraid.
Oh, I've already won.
Give me a
Yay.
chance.
Scott. Question 5. Do you know the answer?
No, not right now. I don't have the force abilities.
Finish the quote.
Right.
If you will not be turned, you will be...
I know.
No, it's not I know. You've got
I
to press
know.
your button. Come on. Go on, Paul. Go on, Paul.
Say again.
Right, finish the quote. If you will not be turned, you will be...
Oh, Scooby. Don't know.
Destroyed.
destroyed.
Hang on.
Scott, Paul.
Destroyed.
Well done,
Destroyed, well
Paul.
done.
Scott didn't press his buzzer.
No, he didn't. So Paul's
4-2.
getting that one. 4-2. Let's write it down. 4-2.
And the baked bean.
Okay, 2 more questions. How much did Jabba agree to pay for Chewie?
Oh, great question.
Paul.
Great question.
35,000.
It is 35,000.
Yeah.
Hey! 4-3.
4-3. So
We could draw.
I'm safe with wear my clothes on the next one, but it could be a draw.
Jesus, this is a miracle.
So this question then.
Come on, Scott. Did you not watch
How
Return
is
of the
it
Jedi?
4-3?
I don't know.
Because the one destroyed, you didn't press the buzzer, and I did.
I gave it him.
What? Are you serious?
Yep. So come on,
He
slacker.
nicked my thing.
Yeah.
No, I put it back.
No, put it back.
It's back before you had the question.
A scam.
So this could be a draw.
No, it's not. All right.
Be a
This
miracle.
could be a draw. Okay.
Honestly.
All down to this question.
Pack of cheaters.
Right, here we go. Who is the first to shoot a scout trooper off their bike? Paul.
Princess Leia.
Oh, it's not Princess Leia.
Well, it must be Luke then.
It's not Luke.
Oh, wait, hang on.
You back in it?
Oh, Scott. Chewbacca!
It's Chewbacca. Well done, Scott. Scott wins 5-3, but a good performance there. Paul.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cheating!
Well
you
done.
cannot have that one. That was... Oh, he had no idea.
Didn't think he was going to get 3 there, Paul. Well done.
Oh.
I'm impressed with the 35,000.
You're the winner in my eyes, Paul.
Thanks, honey.
It was 20,000 and then he bottoms up to 50. 50,000, no less.
50, that's it, yeah.
And then
And he goes down to 35.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so that concludes it for today. Before we go, Paul, do we have a website?
Funny you should mention that.
Tell me about
We
it.
do.
We do.
And it's called the3retromoviegeeks.com.
Brilliant. So that you can get that on the internet, can't you?
The old internet.
And we also have our weekly blog on there.
We do have a weekly blog on there, which is worth a read in my eyes.
Thank you.
We're also on Facebook, so please follow us on there, and Instagram, so give us a follow. We've got a couple of shout outs this week.
And also YouTube.
Oh, on YouTube as well.
Yes.
We are
like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, that's what they say in it.
Yeah. And hit the notification bell to keep up to date with our latest podcasts.
I hear when my kids are on YouTube, that's all I hear in the background. A couple of shout outs we got this week. Okay, Joey Martin. These people have sort of given us some nice feedback. Jamie French. He is one half of Team French. Don't know where the other half is. Alfie from Liverpool got in touch on TikTok.
Oh, bless him.
Mike and Sharon are from Cheshire on Instagram.
Incredible.
They sent us some of their Goonie tattoos, which are really cool. Thanks for that. And mine and Scott's friend Dimitri Baravi.
Ah, Dimitri.
Thanks for your
he's a
morning
beacon of light in the. It was an island in the morning monotony of cleaning.
Yes, yeah, he comes in and has a nice chat with us. So big shout out to you. Also, just while we're on Star Wars, if anyone is local, the Toy Planet in Wantage have got a Star Wars Day on Saturday the 6th of May, 11 to 4. You dress up as your favourite Star Wars character. Good for kids and parents. And that is Toy Planet in Wantage. I think that's all the shout outs. Join us next time, where we will be discussing a movie about a man who breaks 3 important rules concerning his new pet, causing havoc in the town of Kingston Falls.
Kingston Falls.
That's it. May the Force be with you.
Happy
Keep
Star
it
Wars
retro.
Day. Yeah,
Happy Star Wars Day.
Take care.
Right.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. The next chapter in the Star Wars saga, Return of the Jedi. The battle between good and evil rages on. Join the further adventures of Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Princess Leia, Lando Calrissian, Chewbacca, C-3PO and R2-D2, and Darth Vader. A journey to alien worlds. It's a trap. A rebellion against oppression. An epic of heroes and villains. An adventure as vast as the universe. Return of the Jedi. Coming to a selected theater in your galaxy.